The movies of 2025 have mostly been content to make us numb. Franchises spin their wheels, jump scares substitute for dread, and even horror, once a genre of dangerous ideas, has grown polite. Then finally comes 28 years later, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland's ferocious return to the world they redefined in 2002. It's a film that remembers what so many have forgotten. Great horror isn't about monsters, it's about us. Early audiences seem to agree. The film's 5.8 million preview numbers suggest a hunger for something more than empty spectacle. Now, 28 days later, 2002 was never just a zombie movie. It was a waking nightmare of loneliness and societal collapse, shot on digital video because film stock felt too polished for the end of the world. Cillian Murphy's Jim wasn't a hero, he was a survivor, stumbling through a London that had already mourned itself. The film's genius was in its restraint. The infected were terrifying not because they were supernatural, but because they were us, stripped of everything but rage. Now, 28 years later, does something unexpected. It doesn't try to outshock its predecessor. Instead, it asks, what happens after survival? The answer is bleak, brilliant, and full of Garland's signature existential unease. The new breed of alpha infected aren't mindless. They're calculating, which makes them far more frightening. Like I've said, the best horror films are never really about monsters. 28 Days Later was about the fragility of civilization. 28 years later is about the cost of remembering or refusing to. So I'm not going to spoil the story for you. I'm just going to give you a bit of synopsis. That's it. So if you're not up for that, skip this part. So, set in the year 2030, the narrative of 28 years later reveals that Britain has already been isolated from the rest of the world for decades, while the global community managed to contain the rage virus. The British Isles have regressed significantly, resembling a new Dark Ages. Isolated farming communities rely on rudimentary tools like bows and arrows, living without modern comforts or medical knowledge due to the widespread loss of doctors. This updated premise, which essentially retcons some elements of 28 Weeks Later by showing the rage virus contained to Britain and the islands cut off, resonates powerfully in a post-2020 world. The story centers on a 12-year-old Spike, played by Alfie Williams, who lives on a secluded holy island with his father, Jamie, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and his ill mother, Isla, played by Jodie Comer. Hearing rumors of a peculiar doctor's fires in a distant area, Spike decides to seek him out, hoping for a cure for his mother's mysterious ailment. 28 years later delivers an emotionally charged, immersive experience, notably by placing a 12-year-old boy, Spike, at its core as the protagonist. Now, Spike's portrayal, don't take him lightly, because he balances fragility with strength. He shares his life on Holy Island, an English landmass accessible only at low tide, with his parents. The cast also includes Ralph Fiennes as a doctor they encounter, and Edvin Riding as a Swedish NATO soldier whose patrol boat crashes near the island. The film reflects contemporary societal anxieties, more so on themes of national division than the recent pandemic. With the rage virus confined to Britain, the country's isolation from Europe serves as a clear parallel to recent real-world political decisions. The movie delves into profound questions about existence and identity, hinting at how societies might regress under prolonged isolation. 28 years later uses its post-apocalyptic setting to explore the idea of national identity crisis, with a secluded Britain mirroring a country grappling with isolationism. It also examines the nature of truth versus constructed narratives, questioning how a nation builds its own identity through stories rather than objective reality. Its villains aren't just the infected, they're the warlords and cult leaders who repurpose trauma for control. Director Danny Boyle and cinematographer Anthony Dodd Mantle who famously innovated with the digital video in 28 Days Later, have continued this experimental approach by shooting much of 28 Years Later on iPhones. Believe that. And the film's visuals are captivating, utilizing a sweeping widescreen aspect ratio, often associated with formats like IMAX. The dynamic camera work is complemented by John Harris's nimble editing, which incorporates jarring smash cuts for heightened tension. Johnny Byrne's enveloping sound design seamlessly blends with a diverse score from the Scottish indie art pop group Young Fathers. Early scenes feature spliced-in propaganda films, adding a distinct atmospheric texture. The editing also takes bold liberties with linear storytelling, sometimes prioritizing raw sensation over a straightforward sequence of events. While moments of infected attacks are punctuated by sudden freeze frames, Boyle shoots it all with a restless, almost documentary-like urgency, as if warning us not to look away. 28 Years Later, which reunites Boyle and screenwriter Alex Garland, who served as producers on 28 Weeks Later, showcases both filmmakers at the peak of their creative abilities. This new installment is described as peculiar, unpredictable, unsettlingly graphic, humorous, and surprisingly moving. It offers a complete cinematic experience, standing out as one of the most compelling horror films in recent memory. It's lauded as the sequel that delivers what fans hoped for a while, also offering unexpected turns, providing a raw and emotional cinematic journey. The movie offers a stark portrayal of humanity's evolution in a world where some are left behind. The performances from Comer, Williams, and Fiennes contribute to a profound emotional depth reminiscent of the 2002 original, highlighting the resilience of the human spirit amidst dystopian chaos. While some minor structural and pacing eccentricities exist, the film's immersive world building, compelling narrative, and the profound moral and ethical questions it poses to the audience effectively outweigh these issues. It might not be a flawless film, but it promises a highly engaging experience, even for those not typically drawn to the horror genre. For now, 28 Years Later stands as a powerful standalone chapter, or at least a significant temporary conclusion in this multi-decade series, and it does so with immense strength. The filmmakers haven't just re-energized the zombie genre, they've distilled their distinct version and vision into a rich, compelling epic. 28 Years Later isn't about monsters, like I've said, it's about us. Boyle's crafted a modern myth, one that'll haunt you long after the credits roll. Welcome back to the apocalypse. Anyways, this was a review made by the Morbidly Obese Duck, and I'm just gonna waddle away now. Quack.